Okay, hello YouTube. I am trying to do a video where I actually stare at the camera and talk, which is very new to me. Okay, testing. Trying out this microphone. Well, that's stupid. But I wish somebody would have made a video like this for me, as I've been working through figuring out how to make a Salsa Fargo and a Rohloff hub work well together. This is not a new idea. It's been around for over 10 years. People have been doing this. There's a few videos on YouTube that I've gotten some help with. There's a man that was sort of showing his build in his garage on a wintry looking day. A great channel that I like, Slow Spokes. She kind of previewed what it was like to build a Rohloff with a Fargo. Again, informational, helpful, but not, I didn't have some of the info I wish I would have had. So hopefully I can put a few of the pieces in to help people out. I'm not going to be able to do everything, but I will put some links and some other help down below, and people could always comment, send me messages directly. I'll try and help you any way I can. My whole history with this is I wanted a bike packing bike. I started doing research. For some reason or another, I stumbled on the Rohloff. I don't have a ton of mechanical experience with bikes, so it sounded great. It sounded like very little maintenance. You know, I don't like dirty chains that are always making everything nasty. Derailleurs are annoying. All these different preconceived notions that I had. At this point, though, I'm realizing that there's a lot you can do just fine with old-fashioned bikes, and for whatever reason I went down this Rohloff road, and now I have it. But I don't think it's the only way. I think it's just a way, but I'll try and help you out as I can here and give you some advice or some pointers as far as how to begin this process. By the way, a Salsa Fargo 2025 steel frame. All the research had been done, so to speak, or at least that was my hope or my understanding. So I went with the Fargo. The next thing I needed to learn about was which of the three Rohloff hubs would work with the Fargo. I was hoping to get the through axle version, you know, a little sturdier, a little bit more in line with mountain bikes kind of idea that I normally do. So I figured, all right, well, I'll get the through axle. Well, how do you do that? You can't do it, actually. You can't just order a through axle hub. You have to get the measurement kit first. The only person that in the United States that I found that could help me with that was Peter White, another great resource. Him and his wife, I believe, on the emails are awesome. Peter White Cycles. Ordered the measurement kit from Peter White, brought it home, somehow figured out how to use it with the Salsa Fargo frame that was now sitting in my house. Lo and behold, the through axle version will not be compatible with the Salsa Fargo frame, or at least that was what I found to be true. Maybe if I had the alternator plates at that time, I could have figured out a way to make that through axle work. I'm not sure. I couldn't find any information about it. I did email with Salsa. I started emailing with them at that time. Super helpful person there named Robin. Big shout out to them. But the information that they gave me was pretty much, no, we use the quick release, the 135 millimeter, I believe, spacing, with the reduction plates, or the Salsa reduction plates for the Rohloff. Anyhow, that's what I found there. So you can order those hubs directly. Peter White will build you the wheels, and you'll probably have the best wheels ever there if you did that. Also, I found that the threaded options would work, and you can order those directly as well and have your local bike shop or Peter build you wheels. So that was what I eventually stumbled onto. I had my bike shop info below, and we'll be referencing them as we go, but they ordered the threaded version of the Rohloff hub and then built the wheels that way. So, you know, just deciding, oh, I want the Salsa Fargo with the Rohloff. that sounds easy. It sounds like it's already been figured out. But yeah, I right away ran into trouble with that. Right away dealing with exploration and investigation. But managed to make it work. The next thing was the reduction plates for the Salsa alternator dropouts that apparently it's all been figured out. It's all totally understood. But nope, they weren't in stock. Nobody had them. It took me quite a bit of time to track those down. I eventually found some local shop in Denmark or somewhere in the Netherlands that had one set or one part of one set, and then I found another part of the set somewhere else and got that stuff delivered. So I believe that was all pretty cut and dry. Once you figure out the hub spacing of your roll-off and which salsa frame you have and all that, it should be pretty cut and dry. Information online about that. But yeah, finding the parts is challenging. I don't know if Salsa's now got them in stock. That was one question I never did get answered by them, was when are these going to be in stock? Why are they not in stock? But Salsa's website was pretty darn awesome most every step of the way except for that one, the reduction plates. So okay, so now I have a roll-off hub wheel that my local shop built. I have the plates needed to mount the wheel, and let's go look at the bike, and we'll keep talking about all the other stuff that went into this build. Here we are in beautiful Anchorage, Alaska on an April day. Just waiting for all this to melt out so we can ride this steel horse. However, today's not the day for that, but we can talk about it. And we can talk about some of the trials and things we've learned as we went. And so, you want a roll-off hub. You've settled on the Salsa Fargo as a frame. 2025 steel. I'm sure the titanium's the same. You've decided you want the threaded version because the quick release is a little not good enough for what you want. Maybe you haven't figured out how to do the through axle. Maybe you have. That would be sweet. Comment down below. Tell me how awesome that worked out for you. I'm sure Peter White would be totally happy to help you do that. But yeah, so here we are. We're going to start looking at the bike here. So this is my version. There's the threaded version of the roll-off. As you can see there, after making the decision to use the roll-off, I said, well, let's just go ahead and do a belt as well. But the plates there that we were finally able to track down, the reducer plates, and the threaded version there. Now this wheel was built by my local bike shop. If you figured out how to use the through axle, you're going to have somebody else order that for you, some other authorized dealer. They will not sell you a through axle roll-off hub unless you're Peter White or somebody else that they like. But so that we made that work. So the next thing we decided to do was put on a Sun dynamo hub there. Again, this is another great Peter White option for you. We did order this directly, and I had the bike shop there build that wheel for me. If you go with the Sun hub, you may as well get the nice Sun headlight there, and if you're going to have a headlight, you should probably also have a tail light back there as well. But all these things worked out pretty well. The roll-off hub that you choose needs to be very specific. If you decide that you want to do it with a drop bar like I did, you're going to have to figure out how you want to shift gears. And roll-off will only give you a twist shifter. So how do you use your twist shifter with your drop bars? That's your next challenge. So if you do search for how to make a roll-off twister or a twist shifter work with a drop bar bike, you will get about 20 different options. This is the option I chose here. They also had an option where you could put a little bar end extension there and switch your gears out here, but then your cables are all out in space there. There's a couple other companies that make some different ideas, some options, but they seemed a little, I just wasn't super optimistic with them. This is a pretty, I've ridden this now quite a bit, or I've got about 60 miles on it, and I don't mind this down there. It's a short reach, it's out of the way. As you can see, I've got a lot of cabling going on anyway. So there's, you know, all the lighting there and the electric. And then there's 3 cables running to the stern there. There's 2 cables for the roll-off itself, as well as the brake cable there. So it gets a little busy up front. It's a pretty busy cockpit, really, in a lot of ways. So getting to the brakes there, one of your choices are going to be, you know, well, obviously the disc brake works really well with the roll-off there. It's all set up for that. But do you want mechanical or do you want hydraulic? A lot of people would choose mechanical, I'm sure, for bike packing, be able to repair it in the field pretty easily. Myself, I love hydraulic brakes. You know, we all make choices, and I chose hydraulic. Created another problem though. So we want hydraulic brakes on drop bars, or hydraulic brake levers on drop bars. Okay. We found these as the only option that does not also have shifters. So hydraulic brakes being relatively modern, so they're going to have these built-in shifters here. They don't have hydraulic brake levers designed for, you know, shifting down here like we used to. So but it was a search. It took quite a while, but eventually my local bike shop was able to source these, and apparently these were the only options. So we'll put some more information down there in the notes about these brake levers. So if you do want hydraulic brakes with your drop bar roll off, you're going to probably want those. So that's pretty much it. Really, I guess it's not as bad as I made it out to be. If somebody gets that through axle to work and has Peter build wheels for them, that would be so cool. Let me know how you did that. If you come up with a better way to shift than what I did, let me know. That'd be cool. I'm really happy with the Sun Dynamo hub. I ordered all of the wiring very specific, and I ordered all of these really nice connector kits from Renee Hurst and .com, or I'll put that link down there too. But essentially what I'll be able to do is disconnect the 3 wires that goes to that headlamp, disconnect the wire that goes to the Sun hub itself, remove the wheel, and then take that front rack off, and the headlamp stays with the front rack. And then all the wires that are zip tied to the bike stay there with the bike. Same for the stern there. On the rear rack, I can disconnect the wire that goes to that taillight, remove the rear rack, and the taillight stays with that. And that'll just be nice for when we're boxing this thing up to take it out for a longer trip. So I thought that was a really good idea there. The connector kits are interesting. Learning how to solder that and install the little connectors on the coaxial wires was interesting. Don't be intimidated by that. It looked harder than it is. There's some good videos out there. Son has some good videos on that as well. I'm trying to think of any other ideas or concepts that people need to know about. Maybe put a dropper post on it. I don't know. It rides great. I'm really excited to load it up. I've got a 2-week trip coming up in July. We're going to do the Canada section of the Great Divide route, as well as some of Montana. Big shout out to the local bike shop here in Alaska, Homer, Alaska, Psychological, Derek and Stein there. Treated this thing like a baby for 5 months for me as we scoured the internet and eBay and every other place we could to find the different parts and all the research that went into it. But big shout out to them. I'll put all these links down below, but yeah, start the conversation. Tell me what you've learned. It's really fascinating, and I wish somebody had kind of gave me this starter pack idea as I went down the road, but happy. So enjoy the build, enjoy your process. Let me know all about it. I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy the outcome. Looking forward to seeing all the Fargo roll-offs out there.